from young women is that old men are rapey. Young men who treat them like shit and with no respect are not, apparently. Of course, it depends on which group of women. Of course, what's pretty much universal among women here in the United States is that it is acceptable for them to gawk at us like perverts. That is socially acceptable. Or to string words together that don't make a sentence, don't make any sense, and then think of that as an answer. Oh, well, if that was my answer every time somebody asked me an easy question, I'd hate to have to answer a hard one. One of the things that, as a man, that I have observed my entire life is that no matter what, we are supposed to look out for women, and men quite often and most often do. When it comes to a man who's not wearing hardly any clothes and being gawked at, or a woman who's hardly wearing any clothes and being gawked at, neither one of them are hardly wearing any clothes. And the people that are gawking at them, well, women are far more likely to stare en masse in groups. And we can see that in a lot of these photos. The problem is that, well, I wanted to show you that it's not just men who get drunk as well. And that's one of the things about the lady in this picture. There's actually 3 women overall in the whole thing that are staring at him like right in that frame. But I wanted to make sure that I caught it at the right moment where you could see that things aren't quite what they seem. They never are they? Oh my God, yes. Old ass tobacco sticks. Now, one of the things that I've noticed both men and women focusing on is the dating part. Oh my God! What's up, man? Another beautiful day in paradise. Of course, that's in Washington State. I have made mention of the fact that it is both good-looking men and women, and both ugly men and women that seem to be either given the prize or be left out. A lot of times when you see a young, good-looking woman who is with a not-so-okay guy, it's not necessarily because she's got lowered standards, it's because she has different standards. You might want to have kids, she might want a sugar daddy. Well, you know what? Sugar daddy at that age might not want to commit. Or, of course, of that weight, or, of course, of that particular amount of baldness. You never know. But a lot of guys who are, well, not exactly what most of the women here have shown that they will blatantly gawk at and drool over. A lot of the men who are not like that, it does come down to what they have already and are able to provide. A lot of those guys were younger and went through high school and got a wife, all traditional like back in the day. They busted their whole lives, bust their asses their whole lives. And then, of course, when somebody younger comes in after a divorce or some situation like that, yeah, it's an easy thing to pick up on and an easy, ready-made life. There was a woman that I knew in Colorado. Her name was Rebecca, and she worked at those are cool, skim boards. She worked at a Starbucks, and her goal in life was to trap herself a rich man, have herself a sugar daddy. But she actually got what she wanted, She was able to achieve her goal, but she had to make herself look less Hispanic and more white. The kind of guy that she was attracted to wanted blondes. Wanted a blonde who would play stupid bimbo, and she was highly intelligent. and also highly superficial. Now, why is it okay for her to be superficial? We tell ourselves it's because women have less opportunity. No, 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 no. Women do not have less opportunities. Not by a long shot. Most of these men versus women sites, it comes down to dating. The majority of these women who are complaining, it's about dating. The majority of the men, it's about dating. It's about being rejected by the people that you think owe it to you to give you that attention. Both men and women do this. Both of them. We're just taught to do it differently, and we're taught that a certain gender can get away and a certain gender cannot, and it isn't just gender that goes into it. See, it's gender, it's also your upbringing. Like I was raised that it's never okay to hit a woman. Most of the people that I know, though, they say it's never okay to hit a woman, but they weren't raised that way. I mean, honestly, from my point of view, I think that it is okay for a man to defend himself with whatever means he has at his disposal, regardless of who attacks him or her. But the reality of it is, I've never hit a woman in anger. Ever. Now, that's not to say that I've never accidentally whacked somebody with something. Matter of fact, I've been whacked a few times myself with things that people didn't intend on whacking with me with. It happens. One time, my little sister was throwing a tantrum and she chucked a knife and she got it stuck in my elbow. It didn't like stick. She didn't know what she was doing, but you know, it definitely put a hole in me. I was definitely running my mouth, but that's not a reason to fucking stick a knife in somebody. She really just chucked it in my direction. It's not like she was trying to harm me. But also, we can see with the gender bias, you know, a lot of us, we tend to make excuses. Like, you know, if a man chucks something in your direction, he should not have done it. And I agree. But when you chuck something at somebody's direction, I don't think it's okay for you to do it either. When it comes to dating, that's what the majority of these things focus on. Like a lot of these men's rights sites, they don't focus on men's rights as much. They try to focus on, well, why men aren't dating, because most of these sites are just trying to answer women's questions in a rational way, and it's not fucking possible. It's not possible. Oh god, my kitties are itching. Oh. Oh. So I get to hear a lot of these women who are complaining about how they can't find a man, and then they talk about a very specific kind of man. A kind of man that is not me. For most of you men out here, you are not that it either. Eventually we all settle, right? Eventually we all get that lonely. Well, not necessarily. We've been noticing that a lot of women who are taught to play victim believe that they are entitled to destroy the life of a married couple because he's her soulmate. Why is he your soulmate? Because he's got a happy life with a happy wife? Because she comes to work with food that she made for him and gives him a kiss on the cheek, and she's nice to everybody in the office. She asks him if he wants to go do things. Oh, he's got enough money he can pay for it on his own, and she's got enough money she can pay for it on her own. They're both good looking. Do you, as a fat woman who want that guy, are you are you willing to date a fat man? Is it okay for a fat man to shame you into dating him? If you're married, is it okay for or if you're married and young and rich and pretty, and your young and rich and pretty husband you're happy with, that you guys go out and do things together, that he brings you things to work and you bring him things to work, and of course, it's not because it's expected or owed, but because you want to. But like that large lady on TikTok wanted to do. Why are we paying attention to TikTok? Because that shows opinions, and specifically it shows us what women's opinions are. Like, how the hell is it even possible for another human being to think that ignorant shit about another human being? How is it possible that you can have a sex drive and be a stalker and then accuse pretty much all men of being perverts and stalkers? Do you get horny? It's not my business. You know what else isn't my business? Selling sex, selling images of sex, selling ideas of sex, selling sexually suggestive pictures or motifs. I am proud of the fact that I no longer, all right, I still do have a six pack and I can still see it, but it's not something to write home about, and it's not something that people gawk at me about. Now, for a bodybuilder, you kind of expect it if you go to Chippendales or something like that, where it's a women's only dance, and they're sorry, but it seems to me like that place is more likely to be a full house than any strip club. We get to see this stuff, how nasty men are because they go to strip clubs, and most men, that's what strip clubs cater to. But then you see Chippendales. You know what? You get one of those, and that's probably the customer base every night of about 40 male strip clubs. Strip clubs that are traditionally for men. Meanwhile, a lot of the women that I know will go to a male strip club because they're just as interested in women. Jamie Curtis likes to take men to the strip club and then hire herself a lap dance. Now I see this focus on dating, and you're not focusing at all on anyone else. This is just your prospective mates from both male and female sides. What's disgusting in a human being as a mate? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to the friend zone, it should be okay to be friends and have friends. And these people are always the ones that are neglected by these groups. Like you're talking about the fat guy with the glasses and the bald head, and he's already 45 years old and fucking jaded by women, and just spouts a bunch of women are stupid type of jokes. Are they really funny? And then you're playing this stuff as if those guys are ever going to be Channing Tatum. Or as if that large woman who's also being a psycho, like Brett Roloff's ex, Amber. We accept these behaviors in women. We're told that we should be okay with women doing this to us. It's not okay the other way. We address only the issues of men versus women in a dating relationship, whereas the friend relationship, many of these sites are trying to tell us how to advance to the next level. What works? Being good looking and being assertive. That means being a jerk if you're ugly. If you're not attractive, it's called being a jerk. It's called being selfish. If you are attractive, it's called being assertive and it's sexy. No, the looks are sexy. Anything that he does, you're going to try to paint as, well, something that denotes that he likes you. Men and women are not as different as you want to project onto us. Just because you pay attention to dominant male monkeys who are only treating you like crap, or of course, there's the part where you want to get violent with him and yell at him and scream at him, but if he yells at you back, you start crying and he's abusive. But then, is it the guy that you're attracted to that usually takes the abuse only for a short while until you go back and then you blame all the men that helped you? Men, the men who helped you, they're to blame. They're to fault. Your lady friend who called up her brother and called up her husband and had her son help you too, said, hey, you know, she's in an abusive relationship. She needs some people to help her move out. And her lady friend shows up, maybe with condiments or refreshments or stuff to drink, and they unload everything out of the house and get it moved into the vehicle and get it moved to wherever she's got to go have that stuff. And it's primarily the guys doing the work. Sometimes you got what's called a packing party, where the ladies will go there the night before to talk about what they're going to do the next day and how they're going to handle the situation. And then the men are expected to follow suit. And that is how it is in most social situations, most rescues. For a man, it's not like that. It's, hey, you know what? You've got a dick. You got to take care of it yourself. Or, you know what women have to go to? Always changing it and making it about you. Do you not understand that there are a lot of men who are being abused by people just like you and you don't even think it's abusive? Meanwhile, we're not allowed to tell you no without you getting fucking traumatized. You ever wonder why it is that I try to be nice to women when I tell them I'm not interested? Although you can see, even that doesn't fucking work. I was ignored until I showed aggression. That's literally what it took. Aggression. All of us guys who aren't dating material should really just ignore any woman who is not dating material to us. If we give women a sense of equality, a real sense of equality, then we're pigs. We can literally give her an entire room in a gym, an entire room to her, and she'll complain about it. All of the men can try to do their exercises so they're facing away from her, and she will complain about it. There is nothing we can do to protect ourselves from your abuse.